What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of the Rantcast. Now, guys, before we start this video, this is actually take 2. The first take we had was actually absolutely perfect. It was amazing, but OBS actually, corrupted the file, so it was not usable. So here we are again, back at it with the same topic on a different day.
Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Windows, probably more specifically Windows 10, but we're going to be talking about Microsoft's shenanigans with Windows and why it just sucks, or at least Windows 10 or whatever. But oh my gosh, it's just, I mean, where do we begin? There's just so much to talk about. Our first take of this episode was I think an hour or something. I mean, it was crazy long.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, where do we start?
Well, we started off by talking about how trashy your Skype was. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, we did talk about Skype. Microsoft's Skype app just sucks. It's one of the worst apps out there. Almost every platform that has been released, it's just awful. I mean, okay, Skype's just generally awful, and then the Windows version is just even worse than awful. I don't know what you call that, but it's just terrible. It's the worst thing out there. The
levels of trashiness go from meh, I guess. I mean, that would be in the middle of where it starts to suck a little bit. Then it goes bad, really bad, awful, trash, useless. Okay,
we'll say trash or useless. It's somewhere in the middle. I don't know where at, but somewhere around trash and useless and maybe completely unusable. I don't know, but it's just bad because whenever he calls me, it sometimes just calls my phone, but I don't get it on my Windows machine. Or sometimes it goes into my other computer downstairs. And one time, actually, my sister was on the computer. And, Sam's just continuously calling me. And he's, wondering why I'm not picking up or whatever. And my sister just texts me, "Who the hell is this Sam dude calling me?" I'm like, oh, okay, that's strange. Why did Skype somehow get the call downstairs and not up here? I don't know. Every day is a surprise with Skype. You have no idea what you're going to expect from it.
And another thing I would like to point out is I think it's funny that Skype actually is made by Microsoft, yet it works better on iPhone and Mac than it does on PC and Android. Just a little bit odd. You know what I'm saying here?
It's just really strange. I mean, I don't know. I have no explanation for it. It just seems like it does work better. I mean, of course, it's still bad, but at least it's...
Oh, no, it's better definitely bad, but...
At least it's better than what we have to deal with right now. I think there's also 2 Skype apps I have on my computer. There's the desktop and then the...
Do they still do that preloaded one?
I think so. I think I'm on the preloaded one. That one looks nicer.
Man. I remember when I had Windows 8 on the Mac Mini, and it had that stupid, preloaded Skype on it, and, it was, such a chore to actually install the real, actual, desktop version of Skype. It was there's an integrated one. Are you sure you don't want to use the integrated one? Are you absolutely sure that you don't want to use the integrated one? Guys, we have this integrated one for you. Are you absolutely sure you don't want to use it? And I'm like, yes.
And it conflicts with each other. It conflicts with each other too. That was another problem too. I get calls and it would pop up the integrated Skype and not the desktop Skype. So I don't know. It's a stupid mess. I really wish they just for Windows just had the desktop version and that's it. But I don't know.
Why not preload the desktop version if you're gonna preload this awful video chat service, which actually didn't used to be that bad, guys, but now it's just awful. But
it's almost unusable.
If you're gonna preload it, why not just put the desktop version on? It has more features. It's a little bit more reliable, but not by much. But I don't know. It's just a little bit better than the preloaded Windows 8. And is it the same on 10 that it was on 8?
I think so. It seems like it at least. I don't know. Man. They do try to do updates with it, so I haven't really kept up with all of them because I'm not really on Skype that much, but, oh my gosh.
As soon as Discord gets its video update, we're going to be moving over to that.
That's what we're going to be doing. I mean, I'm planning on getting Discord anyway soon, too, so hopefully that will work out very well if they do that.
Hey, he just said doo-doo.
Oh, no.
Hey, I'm 12.
Regret
Sorry,
it.
10.
I shouldn't have said that. Oh, my.
Oh, man. Alright, guys, so off of the story about how trashy and unreliable Skype is, I might
Let's
as well...
talk- Yeah,
we should
go
talk
ahead.
about the Windows XP thing. You remember I told you about this?
Oh, yeah, I remember that the first time, and then the last time
I told you, I told you a
yeah.
little bit about it before we recorded as well, but basically, guys, what happened was this. I pulled out my old Dell Dimension. You guys remember, it's the big tower from like 2001, I think it was purchased in, and I booted it up, and everything actually still works, even though it's just been chilling under my bed for a really long time. But everything worked. I actually plugged in that it's right here. This hard drive right here came out of that iOmega housing, which I don't know where the housing is right now, but it's around here somewhere. But the reason it's out of its housing is because I took that SATA to USB thing and took it and used it for an optical drive on my iMac, but that's a different topic for a different time. Regardless of that, I actually did end up hooking that SATA hard drive up to the Dell Dimension via its original adapter that it came with, and it worked. All the icons on the desktop were there. The reason I did it like that is because that machine actually only had a 30 gigabyte internal hard drive, so I actually was storing all of the programs on the iOmega drive at the time, which was actually a Seagate drive, but regardless of that, I launched it. All of the programs that were stored on the external hard drive still launched. So I decided to make a backup of it, like the internal hard drive, just in case, just in case something happened to the computer, because that's nostalgic. That was the original computer that, like, so many of my videos were edited on that computer, guys. So many of them. The fact that it still works is actually pretty crazy. But regardless of that, I went to back it up to, it's plugged into my hub right now, but I went to back it up to my 128 gigabyte flash drive. And originally I plugged it into the computer. It was formatted as exFAT, which apparently Windows XP doesn't like. It was formatted to exFAT from this iMac, and when I plugged it into the Dell Dimension, it said, "This disk is not formatted, would you like to format it now?" So I said, okay, there's nothing on it, because I had just fresh formatted it to do this. So I said, okay, go ahead and format. Then it gives me an error message saying that it can't format the disk. So I'm like, okay, so I took it back over to the Mac and formatted it to FAT32. And as soon as I did that, it brought it back over to the Dimension, which was set up over in this area. It's not there anymore, I took it down. But it was over there, and I plugged the flash drive into it, and it recognized it. So I started the backup of the internal 30 gigabyte hard drive. And after, I think it was about 4.29 gigabytes, it gave me an error message saying that the tape was full. So I look at it like see, Brandon's over there like dying now, but
oh my god.
What happened was I turned the screen off, and I think I went to play PlayStation or watch South Park or something, but after a little while I went back and I saw that error message saying the tape was full. So I was like, whoa, what? Because here's the thing, guys. I didn't know this at the time, but apparently when a disk is formatted to FAT32, Windows will see it as a tape, and it will not copy anything bigger than 4 gigabytes onto that. So I didn't know that prior to that, so I tried to format it to exFAT again from the Mac, and the same issue with formatting happened again there. So I just decided to back it up to the iOmega hard drive, or the Seagate hard drive that was inside the iOmega housing. And that did end up working, but the problem was with the Windows XP backup wizard, it initializes the disk, but it ended up initializing the internal hard drive and the external hard drive. So the backup was like almost 800 gigabytes when I went to check on it, and I was like, okay, this is not normal at all. So what I had to do was I actually had to go into the advanced mode in that wizard. And from the advanced mode, I selected the local disk, which was disk C, as it usually is on Windows, and the system state. And after that, the backup took up 27 gigabytes, and it worked from there. But guys, I don't know how backing stuff up works on Windows 10. But on Mac, all you have to do is go over select a disk in Time Machine, and it will back your Mac up every single hour, and it will keep hourly backups for the last 24 hours, daily backups for the last month, and then weekly backups for all previous months. I have backups from December sitting on that hard drive back there from this iMac, so if anything happens to the iMac, all I gotta do is grab that Time Machine recovery, and then reinstall it. And I keep all of my data except applications on external hard drives, which I have like 22 terabytes now. 20 external, 2 internal. But on the internal hard drive, I have my iPhone backups, my iPod backup, and a couple other iOS devices are backed up there, and applications. Those all get backed up in Time Machine. So if anything happens to the iMac, all I gotta do is restore from that. But
that ain't bad at all. I mean,
yeah.
I don't even back up anything, which is a really, really bad idea, and I'm going to regret it someday, I tell you. I mean, it's going to happen.
I learned the hard way.
Oh, yeah. It really is. My experience with Windows, I guess, it started with 98, okay, and, you know, that was actually a pretty good operating system, 98 second edition. So from 98, you have Millennium Edition, which is completely awful. I think that was actually when they started doing backups. I never used it. I didn't really understand it. But I think Millennium was when they started doing that sort of stuff, or Restore, or something along the lines of that. And then, of course, you had XP, which was generally pretty good, but had security problems. And then Vista, which is crap.
Vista
7,
sucks.
which is really good. 7 was good, and then 8.1, which is crap. And then 10, you would think is great, but then it really just turns out to be crap as well. I mean,
you forgot
the first pre-releases.
Like, you forgot about the original 8. Because 8.1 wasn't too bad, honestly, but the original launch of 8 was, it was awful.
That was abysmal. I mean, why would they get rid of something that has been probably Windows' best innovation, sort of, since 95? This freaking start menu and making it just one thing.
Hey guys,
it's so dumb.
Let's turn your $10,000 gaming PC into a tablet.
Yeah, people are gonna love this. People are gonna love this idea, and so it's really annoying because it's like, okay, so with Apple, you know, you have iOS, and then you have the Mac OS thing here. You got separate operating systems for separate devices, okay?
Yeah.
Separate kinds of devices. Here, they're trying to do this, okay, one product family, one platform, one operating system sort of thing.
It's just not a good idea.
It's like a one size fits all thing, and it just doesn't work right all the time.
'Cause it's like
it's a good concept, but it just doesn't apply very well, you know?
If they were able to do it in a way that actually like didn't suck, I would be fine with it, but the way they do it, they have Windows 10 desktop, Windows 10 tablet, and then Windows Phone 10, which I don't know anyone who actually has a Windows phone anymore because they suck that hard.
Like, not anymore.
But
oh no, like I remember a few years ago, a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, a few people I knew had them.
Had them because they were like, hey, this is new, let's give it a shot, and then as soon as they turned it on, they were like, oops, shouldn't have got that.
Yeah, bad idea.
Should have got an iPhone.
All my friends that had them. Yeah, all of my friends I had them either switched to Android or iOS. I mean, that's really about it.
Dude, I'd rather have.
I don't think I know anyone.
I'd rather have another S7 Edge than a Windows phone. And after the experience with this freaking pile of trash, that's saying a lot. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh! And then Windows 10 also has another problem with sort of a privacy issue here. So you probably do remember the little scandal going on with how Microsoft is basically kind of spying on you with the what's that called? Like, you know, with troubleshooting and things like that, and tracking stuff for Cortana. Advertising. And Cortana just, oh my gosh! I mean, that was another problem.
Can we talk about Cortana really quick?
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and talk about that.
Alright guys, so my story with Windows 10, when I first got the iMac that is actually being used right now, I got it back in November, and I put a copy of Windows 10 on a bootcamp partition. It didn't last very long, I didn't use it enough, so I just deleted the partition entirely, but back in maybe it was June, I can't remember, but this computer right back here, this is a Dell Vostro 460. It's got a quad-core hyper-threaded i7, second generation at 3.4 gigahertz. I don't know what the turbo boost is or if it even has it. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM, dual 500 gigabyte hard drives, and striped RAID, and dual optical drives. So you'd think it's a pretty powerful machine, right? So it replaced the Dell Inspiron 620 that was there running Windows 7 Home Premium, and which is what I should have just installed on that machine as well. But I decided, hey, you know what? Application support is going down for Windows 7, so why not? This is going to be the main PC to have at hand if I need a PC for anything. So I put Windows 10 on it, and it has that stupid color changing. Hey, we're installing your updates. Please stand by. I hate that screen.
It's like a 1970s, like it goes pink, blue, you can change its color. Yeah, I hate that so much.
It's the same as Windows 8.
Oh my gosh.
After it did all that stupid stuff, it asked me if I wanted to have Cortana turned on, and I was like, nah. So
don't do it.
Every single time that computer turns on my desktop, it says, enable Cortana today. Cortana, your assistant, can help you. And I'm like, no means no. See, on Mac, when you disable Siri, it just isn't there. It just goes away until you enable it. But on PC, it just pesters you every single time you turn on the machine. It's so stupid, and I hate it. And then you have Microsoft Edge, okay? You want to know the only time that Microsoft Edge has only been launched on that computer was? It was to download Google Chrome. Yep. That's the only time I've ever launched Microsoft Edge on that computer. Oh, man.
And, see, not only do they pester you on that, if you have a Windows 7 or Windows 8 machine back when they did the free update thing for that year or whatever, it pestered you all the time to upgrade to Windows 10. Yeah, and it would not stop. It will not ever stop. And some people actually had their computers upgrade to Windows 10 without them knowing. You may have heard of that. I mean, that has to be the most weirdest thing. You wake up in the morning, you go on your computer, like, what the hell happened here?
You know what I would do? Like, if back in that time I had Windows 7 and it just upgraded me to Windows 10 unannounced, I'd probably pick the tower up and throw it out the window. Honestly.
I'd be so mad.
Because to go back down to downgrade operating systems, you have to fully format the hard drive. You can't save your stuff when you downgrade. At least I don't think you can. I'm not entirely sure. But I know in the Windows 10 upgrade, I say that with quotes because it wasn't really an upgrade. But I know all your stuff would just stay there. Your whole I don't know, I almost said library, but all your documents and stuff you had on your hard drive just stayed in its place. But to actually downgrade to Windows 8 or 7, you have to fully reformat your hard drive and do an OEM install of the operating system. So
yeah, it's a big pain in the butt.
Yeah,
I do like it when you upgrade. It'll say your files are there where we left them. I'm like, oh gosh.
No, yeah,
did you guys mess with my files too? Yeah. See, it better be.
When you upgrade on Mac, you go to the Mac App Store and it says, hey, here's a new operating system. It's going to stick here at the top of your updates page unless you dismiss it. And by the way, when you dismiss it, it doesn't come back, which is very nice. But when the Sierra upgrade happened, it was there at the top of the update page. It was like a big, decorative mountain picture with a upgrade now button, but you can also right click it to dismiss it. And I had the Mac Mini at the time, so I don't know if I actually ever told the story about how sketchy that thing was with updates, but I had the Mac Mini at the time, so I just stayed on Yosemite and I dismissed it. But on the MacBook Air, I did install it and it worked fine. But now on the iMac, every time I want to update, when there's a .x update for macOS, all I have to do is literally just hit download, and then it says, would you like to restart and install now or later? Usually I just do it immediately to get it over with, and it'll shut down, and then it'll do the Mac startup sound and have the Apple logo with the progress bar, and then say, estimated time remaining on install, X amount of minutes. On Windows, it does the stupid little, full screen with the color that you picked for your theme, with the little stupid spinning thing with the dots saying, I actually don't remember if it actually says like how long it has on updates. I think it just says installing update 1 of a trillion, because there's always so many updates on PC.
Yeah. Sometimes they're like not even Windows related. Sometimes I see driver updates included on there and a whole bunch of other things. It takes a while. Oh, bye.
I mean, I think when Mac OS has like operating system updates, like the .x ones, I think driver updates are included in that, but I'm not entirely sure how it works. I do know that Windows just has its own like driver updates that install with all of the other updates that are going to be installed on the computer, but Mac just like kind of combines it into one install package that just gets installed on your computer at one time. And it doesn't take freaking forever either. I think the longest update I've had on the iMac was about maybe 20 minutes to update.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all.
No, it really isn't.
I think even it takes Windows about an hour to do a complete update up to the Creators Update.
Ooh, let's talk about the Creators Update.
Oh my god. Okay, so I have so many problems with the Creators Update, and it's just, ever since I've updated, you just never know what to expect from it. I open up my computer, today it's really stable. Tomorrow, you have no idea what's going to happen with it. I had problems where, so say you want to restart your computer. Okay, that should be a really simple task, right? You hit the Windows button there, and then you press the little power thing, and then you hit restart, and it should restart, right? Nope, that doesn't happen to me at all. I actually have to power it down manually by pushing the power button and hold.
Which isn't good for your system, mind you.
Exactly. And then turn it back on. It's the stupidest thing ever. I absolutely hate doing that, because if I do it the other way, if I go do it via software, which is the safest way to do it, it sometimes crashes to me, or it'll restart, and it will not load my desktop. It'll get to the taskbar, load a couple icons, and then just freezes. And I've literally I sat for an hour because I wanted to make sure that this thing just didn't, maybe it's just loading very, very, very slow. I go downstairs, I come back upstairs here, it's still in the same screen. It completely froze. I'm like,
it's so bad.
Oh my god. And then I had this one error pop up. I should have got a screenshot of it. It says Microsoft Windows, this application's not responding. I'm like, what application? I don't have a freaking application open at all. Are they talking about Windows not responding?
It was probably either like the whole operating system or like the desktop not responding.
It could have been. Usually I thought it would say Windows Explorer, but things have changed so much that I can't keep track of how Windows is supposed to notify me of any sort of errors.
Notify.
So I'm so confused. It flusters me. You have no idea.
And we all know Windows Explorer is pretty much like... Well, I'm kind of saying it backwards, because I think didn't Windows have like their desktop and GUI before Mac did? I can't remember.
I'm not really too sure either. Like, you were talking like the old style Macs. Then
like I know the Macintosh Classic did have a GUI, like the graphical user interface is what that stands for, but I know Finder is pretty much Mac's version of Windows Explorer, and we all know Cortana is their attempt at Siri and all the other stuff, but it looks like Brandon just like knocked a light over. Is that what happened?
No, my fridge just turned on and just made this noise. I didn't know if it was popping up on my mic, so I just went ahead and turned it off completely. But yeah, there's a lot of like weird copy things.
Sorry to cut you off for a second here, but speaking of background noise, listen. There is no background noise this episode.
Oh yeah, that is nice. That is nice.
I think I'm gonna start doing that. Like, basically what I did was I put my air conditioner on the continuous thing on the thermostat for like 3 hours before we filmed. It got down to like 65 degrees in my room, so I'm able to just have it off and have like my ceiling fan's on low, but you can't really like hear that in the mic because there's a pop filter over it. Like, even if I you can't really you can't really like hear the wind noise. Like, you'll hear the noise of me blowing, but the pop filter is just there to help with that. Regardless though, what were you trying to say?
Sorry. I have ADHD. I can't remember what I was trying to say. Something about Windows who had the GUI first. I'm not really too sure on that. I can't really remember. I do know that Windows and Mac were very, very different back then.
Yeah, they were.
But now they're kind of getting more similar, and I don't know.
We should actually talk about some of the similarities. Because
look at the login screen.
Yeah,
the login screen's a pretty first one you'll notice there.
We did talk about this in the first take of the episode briefly. But basically, guys, here, just let me explain this really quick. So, on screen now, you can see a screenshot of the login screen on my iMac. You see, it has my profile picture in a little circle with my name and then the password section. And then you go over to my PC and look at that login screen. You see some similarities here? Like the picture's bigger on Windows, of course, but other than that, it looks so similar to Mac. And another feature that Mac has had actually since Mac OS 10.7, which was Lion, was multiple desktops. And what does Windows get in Windows 10? Multiple desktops. So it used to be Apple would steal ideas from Microsoft, but now it's actually kind of the opposite. So
yeah, it's a really strange reversal here going on. I don't know. Well, another thing too is aesthetics wise. I mean, so Microsoft actually was the first one to go with kind of this weird flat style thing, but Apple trying to start to do that too. Well, and now Apple, I think, is doing it better.
Yeah, they jumped. We did talk about this briefly, I think, in the first episode, but the jump from 10.9 Mavericks to 10.10 Yosemite was the first jump from the popping 3D icons to the flat, like, refined iOS 7-ish look that was introduced with iOS 7. I don't remember what they called it in iOS 6. It was like skeuomorphism, I think they
skeuomorphism was the word. Yeah.
And it had like all the linen textures in the folders, which I actually still really like the linen texture, but after using iOS 10 and macOS 10.10 and now 10.12 for so long, I went back to iOS 6 on an older device, and like it's just distracting. Like all of the popping icons and stuff.
It's too much. Yeah, It's kind of like if you go to look at Windows XP too. I mean, I remember going from 98 to a Windows XP machine, and you saw this glossiness, this blue and green color, and then you got that iconic, that background with the green hills and then bright blue sky above it. I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so cool.
Windows Fisher-Price edition.
I know. And then I go back now to Windows XP, an old machine I have. I'm just like, what the heck is this? What were they thinking?
I think like Windows, it was Windows XP Service Pack 1 that had like the login screen where you would actually have to like type your username and password in like a text field instead of having the graphical interface of your icons for your users. I think installed on that Dell Dimension is Windows XP Service Pack 3, but I'm not entirely sure, but it does have that graphic interface for users. And I went as soon as I booted up to that login screen, I was like, this doesn't even look relevant anymore. It looks so old. Like, Windows Vista is what came after XP, which shouldn't have even existed to begin with, but it still looks relevant. When did it come out? 2006, maybe, I think?
06 sounds about right.
6, 7.
It's pretty much
it's been around for 10 years, and as far as I know, it's still supported, which is actually a miracle considering how bad it was. Well, okay, you know what? Let's talk about that really quick. If you had a powerful enough machine to run Vista, because Vista was very power hungry, it was not efficient at all.
This is when they started to introduce the Arrow with the glass and stuff like that.
They didn't quite have the efficiency down for the GPUs to process the Arrow with the glass looks and stuff. Like there's actually computers, like really old computers, like I guarantee you I could get my Dimension to run Windows 8 if I tried hard enough. And it would do it smoothly, but if I tried to put Vista on that, it wouldn't even run it. Cuz like minimum system requirements for Vista was 2 gigabytes of RAM, and I can't remember what kind of processor it required, but 8 I think can run on 12 megabytes of RAM.
And, that's way better. That's way easier.
That is what was good about Windows 8. It was way lighter weight operating system, but the start screen was just so bad. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
If you had a tablet, it was fine, okay? But
yeah, like 8 was definitely like very stable. It was usable, I will say that. It just the GUI was messed up. They messed up the GUI with that. And then with Windows 10, you got the exact opposite problem here. Like, the GUI is okay. I mean, it's also not perfect. I still think 7 was a little better. But, I mean, at least it's usable. But the stability is awful. It's like they just completely forgot about making the product usable and just instead went towards other things that don't matter, like adding stupid apps that don't matter. Like, like Edge, they do way too many updates on Edge, which not a whole lot of people use. People are still using Chrome, maybe Firefox, which
Firefox is actually a pretty lightweight browser, but I prefer Chrome over it.
Yeah, same here.
But like, here's the thing too. Microsoft claims that the Edge browser is faster than Chrome, but there have been so many people doing tests and Chrome winning in those speed tests. Which isn't very surprising to me at all, because Chrome, I use it on my Mac, I use it on my iPhone, actually, I use it on my Galaxy, I use it on my PC. All my bookmarks sync across all of my devices, which I'm sure, like, Safari can do that too, but I've never really been a big fan of Safari ever since the update after, I think it was version 7, it started to kind of go downhill, in my opinion. Like, it's too basic. Like, yeah, but... so that's why I'm sticking with Chrome, but other than that, Microsoft Edge pretty much lost in all of the browser speed tests. I think it might have beat like Opera, barely, but
it might have beat Internet Explorer maybe, but that's not too hard to do.
That's because Microsoft probably like dumbed down the latest version of Internet Explorer to make you switch to Edge. Which,
I'm not even sure if the Creators Update still has Internet Explorer. I think it does. It does. Yes, it does. It does. It does. That's so strange, though, because the icons look so similar.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're an old person who has no idea what they're doing, you're going to look at that like, oh, Internet Explorer,
isn't
I guess.
The only difference, like the thing that goes over the E is gold on Internet Explorer.
Yeah, that's not there, and it's more flat. It's a flat blue color. It's a very boring icon, and it's not what I think about when I think about.
It's an iOS 7 version of the Internet Explorer icon, pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
The Google icon looks way much nicer, and that looks better.
The Chrome icon or just the Google?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Chrome icon, I mean.
And
oh my gosh.
You know what? Back on the topic of the Creators Update, I got lucky with it because it actually installed without a problem, and here's the thing, guys.
Without a problem?
Without a problem so far, okay? From 10 seconds after I push the power button on the front of this machine, the login screen is there waiting for me to type in my password. That's how fast that thing is, and it's not even it doesn't even have SSDs. It has two 7200 RPM drives in RAID 0, which is striped RAID. So I'm sure that helps a lot with the speed, but it's still not even an SSD. And my iMac has that Fusion drive, and the operating system is stored on the SSD partition of the or the SSD portion of that Fusion drive, and it still takes longer to boot to macOS than the Vostro. Although I'm sure that's just because I have so many external drives connected to it. When I unplug those, it's like power button, progress bar loads in like 2 seconds, and it's ready for me to log in. It's so fast.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That is nice though.
Yeah.
I do remember when I first got the machine I had, it had 8.1 in it, and I just pressed the power button, and it's not using a solid state drive. It's just using your basic. It's a 1 terabyte hard drive, so for the time it was pretty good. But
1 terabyte's actually still pretty good for now, even.
It's like it boot up like super quick. I was really surprised, but
yeah.
Now I guess because over time, you know how Windows updates and you put new software in it, and it just kind of accumulates, and the performance of your operating system just goes downhill. I had to the other day just delete a whole bunch of these dumb temporary files. And a whole bunch of other, optimizations and tweaks and stuff like that, just to make Windows run good again. What I might actually do is just even completely reinstall Windows 10 and just see if my luck gets better. But right now, my impressions of it are just very just down. I mean, I don't know if Microsoft can do something really cool with it, but right now I'm just not really.
Like, I'm sure if, because the thing that I've noticed with every PC that I've owned is after time, it slows way, way down from what it originally was. Yeah. And that hasn't happened with any of the Macs I've had. My iMac actually has gotten faster since I got it because of the new updates, which actually work because, like, Apple knows how to optimize their software to run on their hardware, and the reason they're able to do that is because stuff like iOS, macOS, tvOS, watchOS, it only has to run on one device, and that is whatever Apple wants, so they can optimize it specifically for that hardware. And that's why my iPhone 5 back here is able to run 10.3.3, iOS 10.3.3 faster than it ran iOS 6. Because they know how to optimize it that well. On the last this iPhone came out in 2012, okay? And it's still relevant in 2017. And it's faster than my Galaxy. Nice. So, yeah.
I think optimization can do quite a lot.
It can. And that's one of the big downfalls on Windows, because it has to run on so many different manufacturers' computers. Each different manufacturer puts their own bloatware on Windows. Like Dell has their own, Acer, Toshiba, Asus. All of the companies put their own like stock software on their machines, and some of it's cool. Like there's actually some machines that come with a year trial of XSplit, which is like it's very similar to OBS except it's not free. But there's like, if you're gonna do that, then that's sweet, okay? But I don't want your stupid free month trial of 5 different antivirus programs, okay? That's stupid.
Oh my gosh, that's noisy. And that's another thing that'll pop up on you all the time, like, buy their antivirus or things like that.
It's not even only one either. It's like 5 different ones that
exactly, and they conflict with each other, and it just makes things worse and slows your machine down quite a lot.
Oh yeah,
it just sucks.
The problem with having more than one antivirus machine on your computer is the way it does it is if it sees something like going through your files, it will detect that as a virus. So say like you have AVG and Norton, or McAfee and Norton, or whatever two you want to have. Some people think that having 2 antivirus programs on a computer is better, but it isn't, because one of the programs is going to see the other one scanning through the files on your hard drive, and then it's going to see that as a virus. And then the other antivirus software is going to see the opposing antivirus software as another virus, and they're just basically going to conflict with each other until your system overloads and blue screens. And I've actually had that happen. I just wanted to experiment. I installed it was AVG antivirus and Norton. I wanted to see what would happen, and exactly that happened. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And speaking of viruses, actually, my old Dell Inspiron 531S is under my bed. But before I decided to completely reformat that machine, it had over 1 million viruses on it. I'm not even joking either. I ran, I left Norton running a scan overnight, and when I woke up, it wasn't even halfway done, and it had already found over 1 million viruses on the hard drive. And reason being is because that used to be the family PC, and my sister, every time something said download now, she would click on it because she was like 3.
And that's a bad idea.
You know what that leads to. Bad things happening to your computer. So,
or you download this one, you just want to convert a file over, and you you end up with like 10 potentially unwanted programs.
That's another thing,
like,
guys.
Random toolbars. It just annoys the living crap out of you.
Like installing stuff on Windows is so risky, because if you don't do it right, you end up with you get the program you want, but you also get 4 or 5 additional programs that could actually be malware that you don't even want. So you have to always do custom installs on something that'll give it to you, because on some programs when you're installing it, the only option under custom install is if you want to create a desktop icon or not. But on other ones, it's like install this program or this add-on or this other program with these add-ons. So instead of getting just the program you want, you end up with the program you want and a bunch of malware and additional software you don't want on your computer at all to begin with.
And at least one antivirus is actually a virus. You'll get that too.
Oh yeah, that has happened. And there's actually like going back to companies putting bloatware on their machines. There have actually been like actual cases of companies putting malware on computers like preloaded. So that you have to buy antivirus programs and give the manufacturers more money because like I don't know. Do you think the antivirus programs had like a deal with the manufacturer of the computer? Like
sometimes you wonder, right?
I don't know, dude. It's just so sketchy. Like back before when my Mac Mini went dead. Actually, I was in a Skype call with Brandon when this happened. I tried to update to Sierra on it one last time.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, it completely corrupted its hard drive. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I gave up on it. I took it out, put the MacBook Air up on a screen, and before I ordered the iMac, I strongly considered, should I build a PC or should I buy an iMac? Because they're both relatively the same price. But the reason I went with the iMac is because I know Mac OS so well, and it has that beautiful 5K screen. So
that's a hard thing to pass up. I mean, I typically always go for the PC side of things, but that would make me go, that screen's really nice.
Dude, honestly, you have an iPhone. As soon as you like get a Mac and set up that handoff and continuity, you're never gonna look back on Windows.
I might try that sometime, Like, I always thought about getting a MacBook.
Yeah.
The only problem is the price. The price tag, I think, is the main reason why. It's just hard to justify, and it's not very what's the term, like it's not really accessible to everyone, Yeah,
because
maybe some people only have a $400 budget or something like that.
Yeah,
very low budget.
It's definitely no secret that Macs are very, very expensive. Like this iMac actually ran me $3,000. And the RAM upgrade was $200. Through Apple, it would have been $600, but I just did it myself because I didn't want to spend that much on RAM. But $3,000 for a computer, that's a lot of money for some people to spend. Obviously, this is the maxed out iMac from 2015 before the 2017 ones came out. But there are lower end ones, but like even the lower end ones are thousands of dollars. Like I think the 5K iMac starts at $1,700. And
I think somewhere around there.
It's somewhere around that. But like for a lot of people that aren't doing video stuff like I'm doing, that's a lot of money to just spend on a computer. Like you could actually get a car for that much. Like not on a very good car, but you could.
You get some kind of car at least, with that much money. A used car for sure. Like with Windows, like it's hard to tell people like what's the alternatives. You could say it's you can go with iOS, but the stuff's really expensive. You can go Linux, but there's nothing to do with it, really.
Linux,
at least for a basic user.
Here's my thoughts on Linux. If you're doing a server, definitely go with Linux. It's a super lightweight operating system. It doesn't require very, very many resources to run. So there's a lot of resources left over for your server. But if you're doing stuff like video, definitely go with Mac, because like the reason I say that is because Final Cut is on Mac, and that's what I use. I've been using it for the last 3 years now. It's when 10.3 first came out, it was super sketchy, but now they fixed it and it's great again. It's like Apple's like Donald Trump, make Final Cut great again. Freaking in on that. But really, the alternatives to Windows are Mac, Linux, or a Chromebook, which would you use a Chromebook?
If you just go on the internet all day and just maybe like Facebook, YouTube, things like that, I see the appeal to it, but to me, I could never use a Chromebook. For schools, I think Chromebooks are very useful though. I think schools could have
a lot of schools
because they're cheap too.
They're cheap.
They're very cheap too.
And a lot of schools are like moving to Google Docs to do like homework and stuff, and Google Classroom, and Google like forums and stuff like that in the classroom just to make it easier and use less paper. And Chromebooks are great for that because they're so cheap. But me, like, I always bring my MacBook to school, just cause like, it's not a very powerful laptop, but it's more capable than the Chromebooks. And, like if I need to edit something for my video class during a different class, I can. Like, I don't always, because usually I have work to do in other classes, but on the off chance that I don't, I can just take my MacBook out and start working on my my video project. It's very slow and, like, sketchy on the MacBook because it's underpowered, but it's there. And
yeah, at least it works,
yeah.
and you can actually do something with it, yeah.
And then, like, the rest of the kids in the class get distracted by me editing the video. Like, I remember this is way off topic of the video, but I was editing the original Smokes Here tribute in Spanish class in my freshman year, and all of the kids around me were just sitting there watching stuff exploding out of the microwave and off my roof and stuff, and they were like, "Whoa, what'd you put in the microwave?" And the teacher was like, "Sam, what are you doing on your computer?" And I was just like, "Homework, sir." No, I didn't actually say that. I told him I was editing a video, and he was like, "You have your work done in this class?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was fine with it, but
No, that's nice.
yeah, he was a chill guy, but the kids, like, just would not shut up about the microwave.
I can't edit.
What's in there?
I can't edit a video of people watching me. No.
I have my headphones on, like.
Oh, okay, that at least helps.
Yeah, like, I could still hear it, but I just didn't care at that point. I was like, whatever, dude. But regardless, though, back on the topic of Windows. You know what? Let's talk about Windows Vista, okay? Windows Vista, I said this before, it was a good operating system if you had a powerful enough computer to run it at the time. But there was also a lot of security holes in that operating system. I think there still are today, even with all the new updates for it. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still pretty bad. But, like, I said this earlier, but it was not a very efficient operating system. It would sit there and use all of your resources just to, like, run the operating system. If you had a computer with 2 gigabytes of RAM, there would be maybe 500 megabytes left over for applications, because the rest of it would be taken up by the system.
Yeah, it used a lot of resources, but it looked very pretty for the time. I mean, you had the widgets on the side, and then you had the sort of 3D-ish effect, and then you had the Aero glass that looked very nice.
It still looks relevant in 2017, unlike XP, or much less Windows 98, which, what was that? That was the last one before XP, right? Other than, like, ME.
You had Millennium Edition. They also had 2000.
I forgot Windows about 2000.
You had the NT lineage that was going on while Windows had the 98, 95, and Millennium.
Yeah.
Those were using MS-DOS stuff, so that was already old technology by
Windows
then.
NT, frick, what does that stand for? I forgot. Is it, like,
I don't even know.
New technologies? Here, you know what? Let's ask Siri. What does Windows NT stand for?
Okay, I found this on the web for what does Windows NT stand for.
See, guys, Siri is still really sketchy. Windows and the T, if my webcam would focus, to be able to see.
That's what it said. Windows and the T.
Yeah. Okay, it's not going to focus, but you get the idea. I'll just type it in. Brandon, talk about something while I do this.
Okay, I'll talk about something. Let's see here. Windows Vista. Okay. Okay, it looks good. It was basically, if you think about it, it's Windows 7 before Windows 7 really came to be. Windows 7 was Vista that without the bugs and crap.
What does Windows NT stand for?
You found it already? Hey Alexa.
New technology. Okay, that's
What's
what I
Windows
thought
NT
it
stand for.
See if Alexa can one up Siri again.
Alexa doesn't know at all, so.
Well, what I found, it stands for Windows New Technologies, which does make sense because it was like a new era for Windows at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, XP was based off NT technology and Vista, basically all the new Windows.
And you have Windows file system, which is NTFS, which I believe stands for apparently New Technology File System. So
I thought they would come up with something more creative. New technology. I guess it kind of sort of works.
That's
they
like that is kind of lame, honestly. That's like saying like Like, say I take this glass and I melt a hole in the side of it, and then I drink from the hole that I melted, and I say, hey, that's some new technology for you guys. Here
oh my gosh.
Family Guy on Fox. That is something they would do on Family Guy. But
Probably.
oh, man. Okay.
It's just a bad way to describe a product, sort of. It's like if Mac was like, okay, our next new version of our Mac OS here is we're just going to call it...
we're going to call it High Sierra.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, they actually did that. I'm sorry, guys. They're out of names for Mac OS at this point. First you had Sierra, and now you have High Sierra. The next one's just going to be Higher Sierra, and then we're going to have Highest Sierra. And then they're going to like name it like Sierra Mist after that, because the soda changed the name to Mist Twist.
Exactly.
So the name's available now for Mac. Oh, wouldn't that be funny? Mac OS Sierra Mist version 10.15 that would be on after Highest Sierra.
It's going to happen. I think it is.
We're calling it right here, guys. Okay, we're going to be back
Yeah.
in 2020 reviewing Mac OS Sierra Mist. I'm going to call it that no matter what it's called. I'm calling it Mac OS Sierra Mist from now on. Oh, man. Freaking 2020, guys. All right, well... I don't really have anything else to talk about Windows. I think I went over everything I wanted to. How about you?
I think I pretty much glanced over most of it. I mean, I talked a little bit about the privacy problems, but I think we're going to probably do our next episode on Google and Facebook or something like that.
Yeah.
Is what we talked about. Oh my gosh.
That is going
So,
to be a blast, guys.
I know, like Microsoft already, we already knew from the Xbox One's first initial reveal that Microsoft really doesn't care much about privacy at all.
Okay?
Yeah.
When the Xbox One first got announced, they said you have to be online 24/7, Kinect has to be connected 24/7, and your Xbox One will always be on, okay? Like the PS4 has rest mode, which is okay, you can turn rest mode off and turn the PlayStation all the way off if you want to. But when Xbox revealed the Xbox One, Kinect, the new Kinect, the one with like the fan and the giant power supply, had to be on 24/7, okay? And you had to be connected to the internet to even like be able to do anything. And then right after that, Sony got on stage with the PlayStation and went, hey, so you know all that stupid stuff Microsoft is doing with their always online and their stupid stuff like that? Yeah, well, we're not going to do that. You'll be able to play used games. You can trade games with your friends. You can turn the PlayStation all the way off. You can take the Ethernet cord out of the back of it for all we care. We don't care. Oh, and it's also starting at $100 less than the Xbox One.
So it does more for $100 less. It was. I mean, I remember that happening, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the funniest thing ever.
They just destroyed Microsoft at. Well, that was E3, right? I feel like it was E3.
I think it was E3.
E3.
I mean, that whole
2013. I think
the whole fan base. I mean, yeah, there's a loyal fan base no matter where you go. But
yeah,
I mean, they were pretty well distraught from that. I mean, that's crazy to treat your fans like that.
It is, and we'll come back to how they treated their customers in a second. But after Sony announced that they wouldn't be doing any of that, Microsoft went back on stage and went, "Oh crap, guys, never mind. We're not going to be doing that. You don't have to have Kinect. Yeah. You don't have to be connected all the time. We're going to start selling Xboxes without Kinect for $400." There you go. I hope you're happy now. So, and then, but before that happened, before they announced that you wouldn't actually have to be online and have Kinect all the time, there were actually like people tweeting at someone who worked in the Xbox division at Microsoft, and said they were saying stuff like, "Hey, I work on like on a submarine because they do like I don't know what kind of a job." Like, I know what kind of job would require a submarine, but I don't know what the name I'm looking for, but, they don't always have internet, so the guy said, him and his team like to play the Xbox 360 down there, but with the Xbox One having to be online all the time, will it work? The guy at Microsoft actually replied, why would you work at a job like that? Why don't you get a different job? Like, seriously? And another person living in a rural area with, like, sketchy internet said, hey, my internet's sketchy, and I constantly get dropouts with my internet. How is the Xbox going to work? And the guy from Microsoft, again, said, why would you live in an area like that? Why don't you move to a place with better internet? Like,
it's just such a stupid... It's a stupidly ignorant comment.
It is.
I mean, oh my God.
He did get fired, okay? He did get fired, but... still,
Oh, that's good.
that's ridiculous.
Because I mean, I live in a like a rural area, and my internet just sucks. I mean, I'm surprised it's still like working right now.
His Skype is like just like you guys might have actually been able to tell that his Skype is just a little bit pixelated. That's because of his uplink on his internet.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. And like this audio that you're going to be hearing here is not the audio from the Skype. It's actually audio recording from my computer and me sending it over.
That the first episode. I just recorded it onto my Mac, which I actually am still recording onto the MacBook as a backup, but. The first episode, the audio was awful because it was going over Skype. And that's not entirely Brendan's fault. Skype has its own stupid stuff it does with audio and compression. But now the way we do it is he records in Adobe Audition from his Zoom H1 recorder straight to his computer, and then he sends the file to me, and the audio quality is just like night and day difference.
Oh my gosh, I know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, like with me, it's just being recorded through my Blue Yeti into OBS, into the video thing, the video file, which hopefully won't corrupt this time, but yeah.
We're hoping, our fingers are crossed, hopefully it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know.
You do never know.
We have our backup though. We do have our backup.
We
are
have
streaming,
like a backup way of doing it. Like I'm not gonna like go into detail about how we're doing that this time, but maybe sometime I'll explain. But
oh yeah,
guys, we are just short of an hour on this episode. I think we'll like cut out some dead space. It'll probably be about 55 minutes after it's done. But guys, that is it for episode 3 of the Rantcast. Brandon, you got anything else you want to say?
No, not really. Just hopefully join us in for our next one
on Google.
I think that'll be a really fun one on Google
Facebook.
Or Facebook or really just any social media thing that we hate. So
like,
we'll just
Google and Facebook
I think that'll be a fun one
at the
too.
Pinnacle of the worst. Like they're like just the slightest bit above useless on the scale of trashiness that I explained at the beginning of the video. Alright guys, well that is going to be it. Again, a big shout out to Brandon from DSRX100 on YouTube. A link to his channel is in the description. There's a card and there's an end screen on the outro. A big thanks for him to actually coming out again to do a second take on the same topic, because OBS decided to not save the file properly and it just it kind of sucked. I tried everything to get it back, but it didn't work. But yeah. Alright guys, well that is I guess going to be it for this episode of the Rantcast. Subscribe to Brandon, links in the description. I just went over that, but yeah, that is going to be it. Thank you for watching.